Okay, boys and girls, I'm going to be showing you my settings for the Fanatec CSL DD in WRC 10. They feel amazing. You got all the detail that you need. So keep in mind the setting I have here is to replicate my personal car, my 06 WRX, which features hydraulic power steering. This is what feels realistic for my personal car that I built for the dirt. Start the video off by showing you exactly what I'm talking about here. Maximum steering angle is set to 900. That doesn't have to be 900 for you. This is just for me because my cars have 900 degrees of rotation roughly. Whatever you're comfortable with. Overall force feedback strength is set to 100. And that's just because this wheelbase is not strong enough to kind of hurt you. Not to say that this is a toy, because it's not. Force feedback scaling set to peak. This is just so you get the maximum force feedback out of your wheelbase. You know, the linearity will provide more accurate force feedback, but you're not going to get as much out of your wheelbase like that. Natural damper is set to 65%. Factory is set to 50, you know, normally, but I bumped it up a little bit just to kind of bring a little bit more of the same feeling throughout all the games, you know. So natural friction is set to 100, and this is, like I said, really important for that mechanical feeling. I think it's essential to get a realistic feel out of your wheelbase. Natural inertia is set to off. This is more for just drifters, like I said. Interpolation filter is set to off as well, and that's so I get the maximum signal out of the game, and then I can dampen it from there. So turning the filter off actually makes it to where, you know, your damper matters more. You know, same with friction and things. And then force effect intensity set to 100. Again, you get all the detail from the game, and then you can adjust the damper to kind of deaden it a little bit. So let's get to the actual game itself. Skip that because that's annoying. Please, KT, make it to where you can disable that really loud noise, like that, you know, like, just stop that shit. It's annoying to hear it every time. Hurts my ears. I got some pretty bad allergies right now because I mowed the lawn, and so I'm kind of stuffed up if I sound kind of weird. So don't mind the max wheel angle. For whatever reason, this just always sets back to 200. I don't know why. It just does. I always try to set it at 900, and it just refuses. So I just leave it, and it feels like, I guess it should. I don't know. Overall force set to 100, and, you know, that, again, this is so we can, like, tweak all the little details, but still keep max force feedback for certain things, you know. Self-aligning torque set to 75. I always lower the setting a bit in games because I feel like it's a little bit unrealistic to have your car, like, you know, regardless of the surface, dirt, ice, whatever, your car shouldn't be self-centering so aggressively. Tire load set to 40. Again, like, you have a hard time feeling your tire grip through your wheel with power steering. Most power steering, you can't feel that too much, but I know personally from hydraulic power steering how it should feel, at least in my car, and that's what this is replicating. Is replicating my 2006 WRX, pretty heavily modified. Self-center is set to 50, and that means you're only 50% an asshole, you know. Recenter force is pretty important. Like, if your wheel is like all the way turned to the right or turned to the left, this will make it to where before the game actually starts, it'll like twist the wheel around to where it should be. It hasn't been working for me lately, but whenever KT fixes their game, it'll be there waiting for me, hopefully operating as it should. Overall vibration is set to 100. Tire slip is set to 85. Suspension is set to 85. Suspension is actually a good way to liven up the wheel, so if you want to bump that up to kind of give you more of an exciting feeling wheel, you can do that, but it will take away from some of the realism that I'm trying to convey. Ground surface set to 150. This is so you get all that little vibration. Not enough Fanatec wheels have those little motors in them. I think only 2 or 3 of them have the little motors. The BMW wheel, I think the Porsche GT wheel or something like that, that sort of brown leather one. Those little motors actually give you so much extra detail. So this is kind of to make up for the lack of that. Engine is set to 100. You know, that's so like when you're like revving, you know, you feel that little bit of a vibration. Collision is set to 150, and that's again for just a reminder that I messed up. Throttle pedal and brake pedal are set to 100, and again, this is only if you have Fanatec Club Sport pedals pretty much, because I don't know of any other pedals that have rumble motors in the throttle and the brake. So before we start, let's bring attention to this guy. He is in every single event, filming with his damn phone. That's dedication. That's a WRC fan right there. If you've watched my previous videos, I just got a SimMagic Q1, and you're wondering why this Fanatec is mounted in its place. Well, I've decided to take a step back to see if I can still appreciate playing these games with lower priced hardware. So it's in sequential mode. Clearly, I'm not going to get as much immersion because, you know, it's lower priced hardware. It's not like top of the line stuff, but it's still great gear, you know? And the fact that I can switch to H pattern just like that. So this guy's probably wondering why I'm not going, so let's appease him. Here we go.
Right 2 into
Definitely
left 3
notice the
long,
difference
bumpy.
right away. Bumpy.
Into left 3 bumpy and left 3 don't cut.
We're gonna be trying out the WRC 10 co-driver mode coming out, me and 2 left. So stay tuned for that video.
Right 2 small cut.
I'm not gonna be driving good because I'm pretty sure I have like a broken rib or something. I mean, I did crash on my bike, but I don't remember crashing hard.
Right 4 opens into right 3 tightens.
But it's really hard to actually steer in the game right now because
Into
my
caution, left 2
ribs on the right
opens
side
over
hurt real
tarmac,
bad,
50.
but like it hurts to breathe right now.
Brake into hairpin right over gravel.
But the force feedback, like you can feel everything. It's not so exaggerated though that you couldn't believe it to be in a real car. Yeah, the shifter,
Right 4 long into
like it
right
definitely
5, 100.
doesn't feel anywhere near as good. I mean, it shouldn't.
Caution, left 3 tightens. Keep
Way
in.
less expensive, and it's not specialized, right? Like it's a jack of all
And
trades
right
shifter.
five.
You know, if you have limited space,
And left 4
Oops,
short
I didn't
into
mean to
right
shift.
4
If
don't
you have limited
cut.
space, this is perfect, right? But
Into left 3 small cut.
if you got a
Into right
dedicated
5,
rig
into
like
left
this,
6, very-
and you want a bit extra
And caution,
realism,
big jump,
and you have the
narrows
money
over
for
crest.
it,
And right 4 small.
there's no point in not getting a dedicated H pattern or a sequential, as long as you can afford it, like I said. These settings are to replicate real life, right? So you're not going to get as much information from the game. In my case, I'm trying to replicate my real car. When I drive in the rig for hours, it can mess up my muscle memory for when I drive in real life in my car. That's why I chose this seat. That's why I chose a steering wheel. Like, these are the same things that are in my real car. I obviously don't have a sequential shifter, but I have an H pattern, so I try to set up my H pattern like it would feel in the same location. You know, that's why I have my handbrake here. There are reasons for things that I do, you know. I set up my brake pedal to not be like super stiff. You know, I set it up to where there's a lot of give like it would be in my real car, but I have a hydraulic damper on it, so like if I push hard on it, it'll provide that initial resistance, and then it'll get soft. You know, I have reasons. My clutch pedal, I made it harder to replicate what I have in my real car. So try these settings out. Let me know if you like them. I'm in love with them right now. Like, I think this is going to be the setting for me for this wheelbase in this game. Have a good day. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.